dedicated to all the smugglers of Gibraltar. From Neanderthal to the Winston boys of today. History's unsung heroes of defiance, looking for adventure and fast money. Only finding death, prison, and remembrance of those who are never coming back.
Robert stepped out of the Airbus into brilliant sunshine and donned his shades to descend to the runway, turning to take in Jebel Tariq, the massive limestone rock towering over the sweeping smoke glass of the elegantly curved airport. It was only late morning. He'd had plenty of time before the evening's meeting. Hopefully this guy would have more of a clue than the uninspiring bunch of imaginary entrepreneurs he'd met so far. Swiftly making his way through passport control, he stopped only for a litre of Glenfiddich, double taking the fact that the duty-free shop was located at arrivals. Moving across the airy concourse and out again, he discovered that the taxi provision did not quite match the rest of the facilities. Excuse me, he asked a young woman, dressed in blue overalls. Do you know where I can find a taxi? Taxi, she replied. Yes, taxi. Por allá, por la frontera. She pointed to the Spanish border, just outside the airport drop-off zone. Gracias, señorita, thanked Robert, pulling his cabin case behind him as he made a beeline for the frontier. Strangely, none of the vehicles he could find had interest in anything so mundane as simply taking him to his hotel, and instead gave him a full double glazing job on the delights of the Upper Rock, views of Morocco, apes, caves, and other touristic diversions, to none of which Robert, at this precise moment in time, his eyes glazing over, could give a flying fuck. Sighing, not so sadly, he decided to walk. He bought a map from a large dispenser and wasn't afraid to use it. Alongside a throng of others, many of them plump and underdressed Spanish ladies, he could see stuffing their knickers with packets of Red American at the appropriately named Parody Kiosk and Rotunda Tobacconists, its right wall piled high with ramshackle bicycle-shaped objects. Crossing the runway he'd just alighted from, Robert became disorientated by this concept of airside security, distracted by yet more senoritas in flimsy summer dresses, buffeted by the wind, and stocking thin leggings decorated with strange, colourful, circular and geometric designs, their vulvae outlined in high definition. Cars, vans, bikes and motor scooters sped past, the scooters mixing a constant but ever-changing buzz with clouds of black smoke behind them. Ahead, the rock towered, awesome, straight up, a mixture of sun-dappled stone, lush forest and just discernible gun emplacements. A kilometre out to the right was the bay, with mountains towering over the massive blue container cranes of Algeciras, and to the left, more expansive runway, the plane he'd just arrived on, nestling with another from EasyJet. Beyond that, more mountains, dissolving into distant mist over the distant Costa del Sol. He walked along by a welcome monument, a sports stadium, and, from the smell of it, the central sewage works. He waited for a flatbed truck, piled high with boxes of cigarettes and spirits, then crossed a side road opposite a Yarrow petrol station. Robert looked around at the decrepit high-rise both sides and mused how it was strange the service had failed to erect a plaque for their 1988 triumph, but then that's the kind of modest organisation they were. Slightly perspiring, in a light jacket, he branched past NetWest, heading through small groups of tourists, snapping the mischievous masks, clambering all over a pedestrian bridge and into Landport Tunnel, its cool and welcome contrast. The atonal harmonica semi-scales of a beggar busker echoing around the entrance to Nelson's Bar. As he stepped out onto Pavement Café Central, Robert's musing was interrupted by bleeps from his phone. He stopped, jabbing at the screen. Oh, missed call from unpronounceable skip. His host this evening. He'd better call back, reconfirm everything was still on, after coming all this way from the frozen wastelands of Fulham. Just a couple rings, and Zedski was fawning and gushing
all the
as
smugglers
usual.
of Gibraltar.
Yeah, fine,
From
replied
Neanderthal
Robert.
to the Winston
All ready
boys
for the
of
main
today.
event this end?
History's unsung
How about you?
heroes of
He
defiance,
endured a
looking
number
for
of long
adventure
and
and fast
tedious
money.
anecdotes before
Only
nudging
finding
Zed back
death,
on track,
prison, and
confirming
remembrance
that
of
Robert
those
would
who are
have the
never
pleasure of
coming
sifting
back.
through pictures from all 6 advertised businesses, including the reason for his trip, Orchid. Robert closed the call and moved on, up a steep back street where the old town began, through narrow steps and passages, buildings, clearly once impressive, somewhat random, their windows shaded with green wooden shutters and apartment entrances left open. Here and there, a Union Jack dangled in the hot, still air. Arriving at his destination, the Elliot, he received the kind of polite but anonymous welcome and comfortable room with view of the bay, fitting his status as senior partner in a Mayfair venture capital fund. He mused, this was not the kind of place with girls on the menu. From what he'd heard, the cat houses were further up the Costa.
Winston, not think of the ones that I miss you, mama. Make 'em buy you a chain, make 'em buy you a house and a Mercedes-Benz, but mama
He
said
spent
she
the
don't
afternoon
want
with his
that.
spreadsheets and
She
business
just want you
plans,
alive
venturing
and back,
forth
so
only for lunch.
boys,
A
you
short
must
stroll
listen to
around
me.
the elegant square with its
Rather
palm
have
tree
you than all
shading,
your
and
money.
down to Main Street, where he briefly perused the bars, electronics, and liquor shops. As the sun set over Algeciras, Robert stepped out and up to the roof terrace. A charming Eastern European girl took him in hand and gave him his gold-bordered Angel Zen name badge. Then it was smiles and handshakes all round the rooftop pool with the staff, entrepreneurs, and a handful of hangers-on of no discernible status, including a shy teenage boy with an SLR slunk round his neck. After politely smiling through a few short speeches from Zedski, a plump and respectable-looking local angel, and Louise Kent, a middle-aged blonde bombshell in microscopic haute couture, evidently the power behind the Angel Zen throne, Robert was finally able to take his place behind one of the pitch tables, resuming the role he played so well. Robert sat through 4 pitches, fascinating in their entrepreneurial creativity. The first was from a couple Belgian guys with some kind of creative accounting system designed to milk the EU for wind farm grants. It sounded great, if you're a freaking tree hugger with deep pockets. Not a high population species, Robert suspected. He nodded through the next pictures on autopilot, politely accepting brochures and business cards. Then Orchid turned up, in the shape of an earnest-looking surfer geek, clearly uncomfortable and incongruous in his dark suit and shirt. Hi, I'm Damion Fernandez, Orchid. Pleased to meet you.